Hi, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be talking about the muscles of the soft palate. So first of all, just a brief introduction about soft palate. What is it? It is an extensible fold of muscular fold. It has two surfaces, anterior and posterior. Then it has two borders, superior and inferior. The superior one is attached to the posterior border of the hard palate, whereas the inferior one is free. Then it has two folds or the arches, which are the anterior arch is palatoglossal arch and the posterior is palatopharyngeal arch. In between them we have the palatine tonsil. All right, now we in this video specifically we will just talk about the muscles of the soft palate. So there are 5 muscles of soft palate. So first is tensor villi palatini, second is levator villi palatini, then you have musculus uvulae, then palatoglossal and palatopharyngeus muscle. So let's just get started. So first of all, we will write the names of the muscles: tensor villi palatini. Alright, here we will talk about the origin, insertion and the function. Alright, now to remember it, I want you to know a diagram by heart and which will just clear all the concept that you need. So this is our auditory tube. All right, and what we have is a muscle which is going from the lateral aspect into this, and it is flattening out. This muscle flattens out to form this green portion, which is our palatine aponeurosis. So this is our tensor villi palatini, and here we have pterygoid hamulus. Then second muscle is something which arises from the inferior aspect of the auditory tube, and this muscle is levator villi palatini. Then we have one muscle which is from the inferior aspect of the palatine aponeurosis. So this muscle, and it gets attached to the lateral aspect of the tongue. So this is our tongue, and this is palatoglossus muscle. Then we have one muscle in the aponeurosis, which is musculus uvulae. Then we have one more muscle which is the palatopharyngeus, which I will be telling you in the later aspect. So basically palatopharyngeus, okay, I'll tell you afterwards. So now as you know that there are 5 muscles, all right: tensor villi palatini, levator villi palatini, palatoglossus muscle, palatopharyngeus I will draw, and musculus uvulae. So first of all, from the diagram only you can understand the tensor villi palatini. So what is the origin of the tensor villi palatini? It is the lateral aspect of auditory tube, right? This one. So lateral aspect of auditory tube. And where is it inserting? It winds around the pterygoid hamulus. Winds around pterygoid hamulus. Then passes through a region of buccinator, flattens out, forms palatine aponeurosis. Now in the function or the action, you can remember it by the name only, tensor villi palatini. So it tenses soft palate first. Second is that it opens the auditory tube and equalizes air pressure. All right, now let's talk about the second muscle. So let's just talk about second muscle. Now second muscle is levator villi palatini. Let's write with the blue one. Levator veli palatini. Right, now from the diagram only you have to make out the origin. So in the origin, I told you it is the inferior aspect of the auditory tube. So inferior aspect of auditory tube, and it is inserting on the upper surface of palatine aponeurosis. Now function by the name itself, elevates soft palate. Second function is same. Now let's come to the third muscle, which is our musculus uvulae. For the origin, you have to remember two P's. One is the posterior nasal spine. Then from the diagram, it is located here. So insertion is palatine. Second insertion in origin is palatine aponeurosis. Insertion is self-explanatory, mucous membrane of uvulae. Function is it pulls up uvulae. All right. Then fourth is palatoglossal muscle. Now from the diagram only, palatoglossal muscle is arising from the inferior aspect of the palatine aponeurosis, but you need to remember that it has two fasciculi. No, yeah, it is the just give me a second. It is the oral, because it is towards the tongue, oral surface of palatine aponeurosis. Then insertion is it descends into palatoglossal arch to side of tongue at junction of oral and pharyngeal part. All right, now in the function, it basically has three functions. First is pulls up the root of tongue. Second is approximates palatoglossal arch. Third is it closes oropharyngeal isthmus. Now let's talk about the muscle that we left in the diagram. So because it was a little, the diagram would have gotten hazy vibe, but now I will tell you why we left it. So fifth muscle is our palatopharyngeus. Palatopharyngeus. Now just give me a second. Now in this you have to remember that it has two fasciculi. One is anterior and one is posterior. The posterior rises from the palatine aponeurosis and anterior rises from the posterior border of hard palate. All right, now similar only, it descends into pharyngeal palatopharyngeal arch. Then it flattens out, forms greater part of longitudinal coat of pharynx. Insertion is into the wall of pharynx. Then the function is that it pulls up wall of pharynx and shortens it while swallowing. One insertion is wall of pharynx, and second insertion is lamina part of thyroid, posterior lamina of thyroid. Now, uh, I hope I made it easier. Now we'll just recap it with a diagram. Very easy diagram, better than this one. So let's just see. Suppose this is what I can hear, that this is palatine aponeurosis, right? So just give me a second. So this is our palatine aponeurosis. You will just extend it a little. Then we have some muscle here. Now this is our muscle that we skipped, but we will do it anyway. So yeah, so here is our pterygoid humulus. So as you can see, palatine aponeurosis. So the easiest muscle to make out in this diagram is our first muscle is musculus uvulae, right? Then second muscle that I just wrote the spelling wrong. Just give me a second. Musculus uvulae. Now this muscle also you can make out. Palatoglossal muscle. So this is arising from the auditory tube. So this is tensor villi palatini. This is arising from inferior aspect. So this is levator villi palatini, right? Then this muscle in blue is what is palatopharyngeus. All right. So I hope I made it easier for you to understand the muscles of the soft palate. In case you like the video, do subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and you can also comment about what topic videos you want to see next.